9 to noon has a Friday football feast. Friday at Buffalo Wild Wings Savage. Scott Studwell, Minnesota Vikings defensive immortality, I believe will be on air, on site, on demand, and on fire with 9 to noon. Plus Kevin Lynch with Valley Sports North with the Timberwolves playing at 2:30. The next day, Kevin Lynch is going to join PA in charge this Friday at Buffalo Wild Wings Savage, which will be 6 days in front of the NFL draft. So obviously a football bent. But also our beloved Hal will get center stage in the final hour with the postseason beginning the very next day. In fact, the NBA has released a schedule and some times and some dates for teams and pairings and stuff like that. And I looked at the Wolves earlier, so I know Saturday is 2:30. And do we come back with a couple of 10:30s after that, or do we got like a 7 in there?
Well, the home games are looking nice. So it's 2:30 on Saturday. Then Tuesday, it's a 6:30 p.m. tip-off.
Oh, wow.
How about that?
Yeah, that's nice.
I mean, the NHL would never treat us like that. There's no doubt.
Yeah.
But then you got to go to Phoenix.
Yeah.
And you hit Game 3, which is Friday. 9:30 p.m. tip-off on Friday, 8:30 p.m. for Game 4 in Phoenix on Sunday.
Okay.
So, but it looks like, at least the way they're playing it so far, the home games are going to be reasonable. You're going to be able to party at Target Center and even treat yourself on a school night, so it'll be fine.
So as has been the case the last couple of weeks, 9 to noon, and will be the case today, we being a radio show serving you, and for those choosing to listen to 9 to noon at KFAN, the least we can do is give you an opportunity to have your voice and or opinions heard. That's via the free iHeartRadio app. It's the Baby Talkback feature with the baby microphone in 30 seconds, which is not a lot of time, but you get 30 seconds to voice an opinion off anything you've heard today regarding the NFL draft. Or, I mean, we can slide the Hal in there if you want, because like the last segment when Nordo and I, quote, riff and quote, back and forth about how the Timberwolves can win this series, you know, that's a common thread. 9 to noon has been all season, but certainly is this week. Started the radio show with a learned basketball mind named Dane Moore, who does a podcast called the Dane Moore Podcast. The Vox, Alan Horton, who calls games on KFAN. He's the radio broadcaster for the Minnesota Timberwolves, radio play-by-plays, the Vox. He will start the show tomorrow, I believe, with 9 to noon. We're going to have Horton in studio for a couple of segments right out of the gate. Then Kevin Lynch, former Mr. Basketball in the state of Minnesota. And that's I mean, it's quite the accomplishment. But nevertheless, he still was Mr. Basketball in the state in the state of hockey.
I always love that one,
which has a weird twist to it. But Kevin is an elite basketball mind. He played in the NBA, and he will be at Buffalo Wild Wings Savage this Friday with PA in charge. But that would be an ancillary piece when it comes to the National Football League draft and your talkbacks with the opportunity to win ducats, to win comps, to win tickets to the draft party, which takes place a week from tomorrow. And our draft party, by the way, is provided by.
Yeah, it's all local KFAN draft coverage is going to be brought to you by Pep's Draft House Pizza. Thank you, Peps.
Got you, Peps. Thank you.
Hardcore football.
Thus, 8 takes and or talkers providing and or circular or circumnavigating tedium, trust, triumph, and there could be some tumult up in this thing.
Yeah, 8.
Yeah, this, hey, 8. Yeah, 8. Oh, my God, Drake May, chill. This has been a common thread for 9 to noon. I mean, last 3 weeks, I think I attempted to put together or compile some, like, we're 30 days or 32 days from the draft or whatever.
You did a 30 for 30.
30 for 30, and I'm like, all right, this can be cool. You know, like 90 minutes later, I still had 4 to go, and I'm like, this sucks. This is hard, okay? I mean, it's when you don't watch college football and you're not tapping on people left and right about non-quarterback situations, that was an arduous endeavor. But 9 to noon enjoyed it. It triggered some talkbacks. caused the con to walk into the 651 Carpets Plus studios with 3 sheets of paper and say, dude, you do know there are 100 talkers that have come out of this. And I'm like, hey. So subsequently, we moved on with it. I think there was because I'll put steam in it, but I just won't say it's steam. And I'm never going to be, source guy. I may say it or I may reference it occasionally, but I'm not like, breaking, I got a source who told me this. But I fell into a Kentucky running back name that I think we've put in there over the course of time. And I got a quarterback for you today. And May McCarthy May. I mean, I think we're still in the same fishbowl, maybe just under different rocks. Got bosses pounding on your boy, pounding on yours truly. With the quote, it's not bad if they take 2 defensive players at 11 and 23. And you're right. I mean, 2 first-round defensive players in a draft that is, the first round is super offensively heavy through the first half of it. Yeah, you could get probably Nordo's Turner Cat and maybe the super special Toledo corner. Or you could sell the metaphorical farm and get a quarterback. Oh my God. And then by hashtag football faith, hope you're right. Oh my God. Which I don't think is that much of a leap, given the head coach and the complimentary skill players around said slinger, who, by the way, I would, speaking of metaphorically betting farms, if I had one and I walked up to the door and went, hi, I'm Paul. Do you mind if I buy your farm? And did somebody steal my computer? If that were the case,
I always love that one.
Then yeah, I would say I would say that what are we talking about again? The metaphor. Whomever they draft won't play the first regular season game. Probably will play, but don't know when. But that would be the metaphorical farm. Did you steal my computer? With Darnold starting the season, number 1. So what we're doing here is around the corner. We will opine on these if indeed there is anything. 64686 for the Bradshaw and Bryant KFAN text line. You won't win tickets that way, but if it's more convenient for you to opine, Nordo, mad producer, he has the text machine right in front of him. And for the purpose of the draft party tickets, courtesy of Peps, the talkbacks are required. Number 1. Late NFL draft steam is the Giants are in this quarterback's race. Now, that's popped up a lot with stories and publicly and everything, but this squad at this stage of the equation, it's been a, let's say, non sequitur. It's been a side piece. It's been the Bears, Commanders, along with New England and Minnesota and Denver and Vegas. And that's been the Thanksgiving meal.
Yeah.
But like an ancillary side piece to it, the cranberry or whatever, has been the New York Giants. And what do they have up their sleeve? I mean, this squad is looming somewhat as a silent yet rank outsider. And many are getting loud about it. And 9 to noon definitely is hearing those who are getting loud about it, whether it's getting loud under the cover of darkness or it's stories that we read from people we trust, like Peter Schrager and his mock at NFL.com. So it's when I say late NFL draft steam, well, that's because it's really starting to pop up now. It's been there, but it's starting to get loud now.
Yeah, wide receiver has been a talker for them, but now I've even seen trade-up scenarios at this stage.
Well, number 2 of the 8 days from the draft, thus 8 takes and talkers, it kind of answers the question as to whether the steam potentially is more than looming as somewhat a silent and rank outsider. Number 2, Daniel Jones got Peaches fired. There was no Meadowlands miracle to pull him out of this one.
I always love that one.
We'll just leave it at that. Daniel Jones got Peaches fired.
I always love that one.
Quarterback for the New York Giants. Number 3. All right, here we go. This plays off a little bit what you dropped during Vikes Bites. It's a long shot, but Cortland Sutton a wide receiver for the Denver Broncos.
Ooh.
Cortland Sutton is skipping Broncos off-season workouts, reportedly because of a contract dispute, which could mean he's sign and tradable worthy to say Arizona with that 12 spot and whatever else. So, Anti-Vike ain't afraid. The Anti-Vike is not afraid. The Anti-Vike is a lot of things, and one of them is he's not afraid. Well, now all of a sudden they got a problem with Cortland Sutton. Now, Cortland's in the back half of his career. Not sure contractually exactly what that looks like or what he makes, but Arizona wants a receiver. All right, so now you start thinking about this giant steam that's looming. It's looming and it's percolating. It's hotter than ever. Well, the Arizona Cardinals are the wild card with the Giants because the Cardinals want a receiver, and they want a receiver badly.
Wow.
So you swap with the Vikes, you go back to 11. Maybe you don't get exactly the receiver you want. You swap with the New York Giants at 6. You get exactly the receiver you want. You swap with the Anti-Vike at 12. All right, well, we'll roll with number 2 LSU guy, or we got a sneaky, the Washington cat, he's going to be long gone. That's who I think they want. The Cardinals, Rome
Odunze.
Adunze. Tisawin, right. The Cardinals want a receiver, so it's easier to get exactly who they want at 6. That would be the Giants. What if the Anti-Vike calls and he's like, well, we got Cortland, you can have him. And the 12. Well, I mean, he is a very good receiver. Back half of his career, very good receiver. So just no steam, just pondering a little bit because we're 8 days from the life changer.
Yeah.
Thus, the 8 takes and or talkers I told you that provide tumult and tedium and twists and eventually triumph.
Welcome to the team, Drake May or J.J. McCarthy. I'd like you to meet Josh Reynolds. He just came in from Detroit. Marvin Mims and Lil Jordan Humphrey.
What?
Your top 3 targets.
Anti-Vike signed to Josh Reynolds.
Josh Reynolds is
Not
a
a bad
member
move.
of the. No, he was kind of clutch for Goff and the Lions.
Right. And so therefore,
Tim Patrick hasn't been healthy in like 3 years.
yeah. And Jerry Jet. Number 4. I find myself really interested in Michigan defensive tackle Chris Jenkins, whose dad, Chris Sr., started a million games for Carolina, and he was a menacing presence. I mean, I didn't look this up. I'm just going to go off the instincts provided by the Gridiron Gospel. Chris Jenkins Sr., beef eater in the middle, quick twitch, think Pat Williams more than Kevin Williams, but he could get to the quarterback. My man had to be an all-pro. Forget the Pro Bowl. That's a popularity contest. Had to be all-pro, first or second team at least 3 times. And Chris Jenkins played I don't know if he played his full career with Carolina, but Chris Jenkins Sr. was a stone-cold badass as a defensive tackle.
Okay.
Well, his son was part of that elite Michigan defense where a lot of high-end players, as I've learned, have in certain situations pulled away from other high-end players. So you're looking at number 20. My stealing the show. 14 tackles, 7 tackles for loss, 2 sacks, and 2 picks. All right, well, like this guy over here who wears whatever, he paved the way for all of it, but he's not getting the credit. And then you get Chris Jenkins Jr., who's a menacing presence, and all right, everybody's focusing on him. Well, there is a corner who locked somebody down, locked down Marvin Harrison Jr. one-on-one so beautifully that it afforded Jenkins Jr. and or other defensive linemen to be able to do their thing. I mean, can you tell the word unity is the common thread with Faith and Goal today? Unity, harmony, and lacking acrimony is what that Michigan defense was all about. People feeding off each other in the ultimate team game and not caring who goes first and why. And Chris Jenkins Jr. was part of it. But it seems like, and this is going to bug the con because he has that Friday show with Saucy, and we don't have any picks. It seems like Chris Jenkins Jr., like he's one that will fall in, let's just call it the Friday football least.
I always love that one.
The Friday football least in the day we have no picks. Chris Jenkins Jr., don't leave home without him. Really, really would love to have him on the Minnesota Vikings. And number 5. What's more likely? The Vikings trade up for a quarterback and sit on him a majority of the season and win so few games, the pick they traded to get said quarterback is top 5 in 2025. Or they stay healthy and start hot with Darnold. New guy has to play for whatever the reason and is ready to go, and they win at least 10 games. What's more probable? The way I laid that thing out. Chew on that. We'll talk about it next segment. Number 6. Con wants a guard. So we went sniffing and came up with Michigan Zach Zinter. By the way, Josh Metellus, a former Michigan Wolverine.
Indeed.
He's on the radio show about 45 minutes from now.
Yes, he is.
So here's the deal. Zach Zinter broke his leg November of last year. All right. Before that, he already was named first team All-American. But we got broken leg terrorism, which is perfect. That's perfect. I'm sorry you broke your leg, but it's really going to help us if you fall in the draft to a certain spot, because I think he would fit in here, and Con wants a guard.
Yes.
Major key, this Zinter, to maybe the best offensive line in the land. He was a team captain. 3-time Big Ten first-team offensive lineman. Ooh. All right? 3-time, now I think one cat we took years ago, Wyatt Davis. Let's put him off to the side for a second.
Yeah, correct.
They're outliers. Okay? But for every outlier, there's a Joe Thomas. So for every outlier, there is a that guy. 3-time Big Ten first-team offensive lineman, generally work out in the NFL. All right? But he broke his leg very late in the season. Thus, I think it would be cool were this the first Saturday snatch for the Minnesota Vikings.
Oh, I love that.
And that would be the 4th round.
Yes, sir.
Number 7, last 6 drafts, 3 guards have been selected on average in the 4th round. Most of any round. Finally, number 8. Depending on how this whole quarterback quandary goes, depending on how the functioning snipe ability works, depending on whether Daniel Jones gets Peaches fired twice, depending on what the Giants opt to do, depending on what the anti-Vike does, not talking to Cortland Sutton, depending on Arizona's desire to get a receiver at 6 or 11 or 12 or 13, already with an embarrassment of riches for these cards, 6 picks in the first 90. Holy cow, that's gluttonous. So whether you take a quarterback via trade up, and so you know now we're thinking Saturday, like the Saturday snatch to start the day being Zach Zinter, the guard from Michigan. I'm in on that. But let's just keep going. Let's just keep going to see what happens. Let's deep quarterback draft. 3-chinned announcer and others believing there will be right around a handful of those on Saturday who get second contracts as starters or high-end backups. Kirk Cousins in 2012 was one of those. So that's what now Kirk's a high-end Saturday pick, let's be honest with each other. But something like that. So what do you want me to do here? You want me to drop the name, or do you want to tease it and do it around the corner?
I'm into the tease.
You're into the tease?
I'm into the tease, yes.
When 9 to noon returns, we are going to present a quarterback for you, a rookie quarterback who deeply intrigues me and can be had deep in the draft, and I'm going to share why. And this is not in lieu of a Thursday trade up for any of the operable names. No, this is along with.
Yeah.
Okay, this is, again, deep quarterback draft. 9 to noon is not fighting it like we did in 2020. 9 to noon with the wide receivers. 9 to noon is not fighting it like we did last year with the tight ends, where the old school, best school, get off my lawn approach is, that's Jeff. I'm Paul. Have you stolen my computer? It's not like that. What it is I like to see a season and a half to 20 to 25 of them before I start saying this is the best. Somebody challenged me yesterday. Well, I'm not even going to share what it is because I want to do it maybe tomorrow. where I'm just going to start reading you names, and then I'm going to read you another set of names, and then we're going to rely on your quick twitch discernment to just see what's better and why.
Yeah.
But it involves that 2020 wide receiver draft.
Okay.
Yeah. When I held out the sheet and I'm like, bro, Justin, what? Hey, really? Well, yeah, but Devontae. Let's pump the brakes here, okay? And let's talk this out critically and maturely. So that's coming. I'm so full of diatribes and tentacles today. It's and addenda. It's ridiculous. Coming up next, a quarterback name who will go in the draft. You can get him on Saturday, and I think he's going to be one of those guys who gets a second contract as a starter or a high-end backup. If you could see the look on the countenance of the producer right now, it would be that of a Cheshire grin. You're listening to 9 to Noon, and here's the cash thing.
The Fan, along with BigDeck.com, they want to give you a chance to put $1,000 in your hand with the National Cash Contest. Go to KFAN.com, enter the keyword money. You might win some. The keyword is money, KFAN.com.
All right. 8 days from the NFL draft, 8 takes and talkers full of a tedium, triumph, tumult, and titillation. Number one was the steam with the Giants about moving up for a quarterback. I believe is very real. When I say very real, I don't, have any information on it. Like David Gettleman, their former general manager, somebody I don't know, hasn't tried to sabotage everything they're trying to do there and send out a text or something like that. At least to me, it's just the way the Giants are looming in silent fashion. And the fact that they have to know, Daniel Jones didn't even play half the season last year. And, when Daniel Jones has played, Daniel Jones overall has not been very good. So contractually speaking, is there an easy out for Jones in the next X amount of years? We don't care. I'm just saying taking a quarterback, the Giants taking a quarterback at 4 is more plausible now than I thought it was last week. Daniel Jones got Peaches fired. Cortland Sutton is skipping Broncos offseason workouts, reportedly. Could he be included in a trade up by the anti-Vike and the Denver Broncos from 12 to get whatever they want? Anti-Vike ain't afraid. I have fallen in love with Michigan defensive tackle Chris Jenkins Jr. of late. Don't know how and or when we can get him because the Friday after the Thursday for the Minnesota Vikings, the way the picks lay out now, we call that the Friday football least.
I always love that one.
Wondering what's more likely. The Minnesota Vikings trade up, way up, 3 first-round picks and draft a quarterback and sit on him for a majority of the season and win so few games. The pick they traded for the 2025 draft becomes top 5. Oh my God. Or they stay healthy during the season, early part of the season, and they start hot with Darnold, and then the new guy has to play for whatever the reason. The new guy plays and is ready to go, and they win 10 games or more. I'm wondering which is more plausible, which is more probable. Free iHeartRadio app, baby microphone, talkbacks, tickets to be given away. Which is more probable to you in quick fire fashion?
More probable at this moment would be
It's tough.
I do think it's the first one though. I think if you're going to go polarizing, it's either they win 10 plus games, or there are issues and there's a setback. I have to lean setback at this moment.
Setback that puts the pick in the top 5. That's a hell of a setback.
But if I had to pick one or the other, I'm picking that.
Got you.
And it is a hell of a setback. I agree.
Got you.
L.
Khan wants a guard, went sniffing. Zach Zinter, broken leg, 3-time All-American. Big Ten, they generally work out. Probably can get him early Saturday. Number 7, last 6 drafts, 3 guards have been selected on average in the 4th round. That's most of any round. That's we dropped that in simply for the producer of the radio show. And finally, number 8, BYU quarterback Kedon Slovis intrigues me deeply for the deep part of the draft, and here's why. Kedon Slovis, he was Sam Darnold's replacement in 2019 at USC. Darnold got drafted 3rd by the Jets in 18. Here comes Kedon Slovis, I think from Scottsdale, Arizona. He starts as a true freshman at a blue blood big school in a big conference. My man throws 30 touchdowns, and he's off to the races as a true freshman. By the way, how about this? In 2019 at USC for could be new main man Keaton Slovis or something called Keaton Slovis, his wide receivers included Michael Pittman Jr., Amon-Ra St. Brown, Drake London, and Velus Jones Jr. Just to run the tricks.
I always love that one.
Are you kidding me with that embarrassment of riches?
Wow.
All right, so what do you do? What do you do, Keaton? I mean, you're at USC, brought Pat Hayden, James Harris, Matt Leinart, Carson Palmer, goes on and on and on. We're going to start you as a freshman. He throws 30 touchdowns. All right, now he has high-end players. That's the key. He has high-end players around him. That's the key. He did at least. And starting as a true freshman at like 18 or 19, that's fantastic. 30 touchdowns. So Caleb Williams forces him out in 2022. All right, so his last year, 2021. Caleb Williams' first year, 2022. Here comes Caleb. Here comes Caleb's dad. Well, Keaton Slovis is in the belly of the beast now. This worm is not going to turn. So I'm leaving because that's the day and age. That's just how it works in the day and age of the transfer portal. I'm leaving. I've had enough of this, and I'm sick of it, honey. I'm leaving. And so he leaves, and he goes to Pitt. All right? He's a Pitt Panther. A year after Jordan Addison leaves.
I always love that one.
To go to USC.
Right. So this ain't going to work. I mean, he's gone. I got nothing. Holy cow. I got to leave again. I'm fed up and I'm not taking it anymore. So I think I'll go to Brigham Young University the year after Puka Nacua leaves.
I always love that one.
My man had nothing and had less than nothing on the offensive line. Give this man some high-enders like Jefferson and the gang, and I like how he plays when he has requisite talent around him, high-end tackles as in Darrisaw and O'Neal, and you get, well, I mean, yeah, so if you take one and then you take this guy and you use Darnold, well, Mayor McCarthy or whomever, they're the first in line, but I just want this commodity on my team. This commodity, when he was 18 years of age, granted throwing to Michael Pittman Jr. and Amon-Ra St. Brown and Drake London, and then he had Velus Jones Jr., their Brandon Powell for the tricks. Yeah, it worked. But you know what? There are a lot over the annals of time who have had massive talent around them, and it didn't work. At ages 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, or if you're Bo Nix or Michael Penix, 28.
I always love that one.
Getting their second contracts along with their ARP cards.
I always love that one.
Keaton Slovis from BYU. All right? And yeah, you can find some of his highlights and stuff like that all over the internet.
What a weird career he's had, by the way.
Yeah.
His 58 touchdown passes for the Trojans, it's fifth all time.
What?
Yeah. His 7,500 passing yards at USC is seventh all time.
Wow.
So I assume
never would have guessed that.
And I don't think it's just Caleb Williams. Lincoln Riley becomes the head coach there.
Yeah.
So that may have been Lincoln Riley rolling into town and going, we're happy you're here, Keaton, but just so you know, it ain't going to happen.
Is Lincoln Riley still the coach?
At USC, yeah.
Well, okay. Well, making decisions like that, well, it was Caleb Williams, okay. But I was going to say, making decisions like that, you ain't going to be there long with all that cash. Okay, well, cool. How would you like to be Keaton Slovis? Okay, I understand this kid's ballyhooed, and you can hear his father from Compton to Gardena because he talks so loudly. And he talks all the time. And he's puppeteering the whole thing. Okay, but then again, they learned that at UCLA with Lonzo Ball's dad. So, being on the West Coast, I've been around all that. I understand. I'm seventh all time in what?
Passing yards.
I'm 15th or fifth all what?
Fifth all time in TD passes.
That's me in 3 years, and I started when I was 18.
He's holding the peace sign up.
And before you got here, I had Pittman Jr., Drake London, and Amon-Ra St. Brown with Velus Jones Jr. on the side, and I did everything they asked. Oh, by the way, including throwing 30 touchdowns that year. What happened?
I don't know who. I mean, this is unbelievable. So he gets 1,000 yards out of Amon-Ra, 1,200 yards out of Michael Pittman.
Oh, geez.
17 touchdowns between the two of them. This is his freshman season.
Yeah, you're deep diving right now with Stathead, which I didn't do yesterday.
But But here's the key though with Slovis, with your guy Slovis.
Yeah.
Lincoln Riley's like, I need somebody.
Yeah.
He played all 12 games his freshman year. Played a total of 15 the next two. So what's up with Slovis? Did Slovis was he playing slow?
Okay, well, but nevertheless, through all of the questions and the tedium, that's part of the tedium, with the 8 days from the draft, thus 8 takes and talkers, which could include tedium and tumult. Well, no matter how he got to the winner's circle, he's in the top 10 all time at not Cal State Fullerton, not Utah State,
Right.
not Augustana Go Crazy, at the freaking University of Southern California.
It's not bad.
That's not bad.
No, it's not.
So,
But who's the guy? So going back in time a year ago.
mm-hmm.
Now we just saw one season, so there's room to grow.
Yeah.
But if you talk to the guy that said you're going to love Jaron Hall, are you talking to that same guy about Keaton Slovis a year later?
Me?
Or whoever
Yeah.
whoever was reaching out for
Wow.
intel
That's right.
on Jaron Hall.
And Jaron Hall had Puka.
He did have Puka.
Slovis didn't.
Oh my gosh.
So, might be golden in them Bar Hills with Keaton Slovis.
There might be. So that would be. I was expecting you. I'm not going to lie to you. I was expecting you to hit me with
What, Milton
Spencer,
who throws it 90 yards?
Yeah, Spencer Rattler.
No.
Joe Milton.
No.
Human Cannon.
No, this is
Maybe the good-looking cat from Notre Dame.
Hartman. Yeah. All right. Well, maybe for tomorrow or the next day, because I just put way too much time into this yesterday. I'm so tentacle laden today. I'm so scattered. I'm so chatty. I'm a human wild card today, and I understand that. So, what hit me yesterday out of the Gridiron Gospel was the number one thing. This is after I read Schrager's mock.
Yeah.
And he has Peach's former team trading up to get the quarterback.
Right.
So he has us taking Bo Nix.
No Bix.
So now with no Bix, who if he went to Cleveland would be running play action to Chick Nub.
I always love that one.
With Bo Nix, okay, Bo Nix. All right, cool. Let's unpack it a little bit. All right. What's the epiphany from the Gridiron Gospel? The number one thing when it comes to a quarterback that matters to Kevin O'Connell is what? What is it?
Accuracy.
Bam. Who's the most accurate of all of the quarterbacks coming into the draft?
I always love that one.
No Bix.
It is no Bix.
77% last year, 71 before, 72 or 71. Well, then you get down to the good-looking kid from Notre Dame you described. I don't know what he looks like, but I know his last name is Hartman. I mean, I had to hide my eyes when I looked at that completion percentage. I'm looking at Spencer Rattler's completion percentage, and I'm like, a Cobra Snake would be better than this Rattler if accuracy is what you're looking for.
Right.
Penix, too. I'm got a little accuracy problem with Penix with some of these numbers. You don't with JJ.
No, you don't.
You don't with Drake. And you don't with Bo Nix. Just keep that in mind. This is your Keaton Slovis leader, the Fan, and Pukanakua.com.
Fan.
Hey, it's News to Nord, and it's brought to you by The Casino at Canterbury Park, CanterburyPark.com. Feeling the felt all year round. That's the name of the game with blackjack and poker and table games. 3-card poker is my jam when I'm there. I'm having sips at chips. I'm tipping Derek Allen. And then I'm looking at the past performances because live racing is quickly approaching. So get to CanterburyPark.com. Find out all the event details. Love you, Canterbury. Love the NBA as far as the Timberwolves are concerned. Saturday, Game 1, the time has been announced. It'll be a 2:30 p.m. tip-off, and you should be able to hear that right here on your home for all sports, but specifically the Howl. That'll be a 2:30 p.m.-ish tip-off. Game 1 at Target Center against the Phoenix Suns. There were some play-in games last night, PA. Lakers, it was close, and frankly, even if the Pelicans, we'll get to the Pelicans momentarily because they still got one more chance at getting into the playoffs. Zion had to leave. Looks like he was hurt, and he might be iffy for his status, which is an absolute crushing blow to the Pelicans. Similar but different, of course. Giannis on the Eastern Conference side of things, dealing with injury as the Bucks look to start the postseason. So trouble there for Zion. But Lakers move on. They're the 7th seed. 110-106, I believe, is the final. They'll travel to Denver. So the 7-2 matchup is set. Sacramento Kings absolutely demolished the Warriors last night, PA. You got Klay Thompson. He's going 0 for 10, basically punchless except for Steph. They lose 118-94. So the Sacramento Kings are now going to be in New Orleans to play the Pelicans on Friday night for the 8th seed, and they would face OKC on Sunday. So looking forward to that. Eastern Conference tonight. Miami at the Sixers. This is a badass play-in game.
Agreed.
Sixers get healthy with Embiid back. They've mostly won every game since Embiid got healthy. Jimmy and the Heat, they kind of just mess around, and Jimmy's just chilling. We're about the playoffs. Well, now they're in a tough spot because maybe they didn't figure that the Sixers would be stuck, and then they're climbing the charts again. Almost got into the 6th seed, but they'll be in Philly tonight for that 7-8 matchup.
Jimmy's like, I ain't tripping. I bounced Giannis as a 1 last year.
Yeah, but
we'll see, Jimmy.
I don't know.
I don't like how your team finished,
and I don't like not only how they finished, but how the Celtics have really. I mean, they've separated themselves in every bit of the Eastern Conference conversation this year. I think the 2nd seed Knicks were 14 games back. I mean, it was a show by the seas. But it's Atlanta at Chicago. And then the winner of that game will face the loser of Jimmy or the Sixers for the 8th seed, and then they'll get the chance to be swept by the Celtics.
Hey,
so,
you know how, and this is legit because the past performances may not be indicative of future results, but the past performances are true with Grayson Allen. It's in the I've said it 5 times this week, but the last 4 games the Suns have lost, Grayson Allen shot 30% and hit a 3 a game out of like 30 tries. All right, so you got to put Grace. I mean, if you can handle that MB3, it can't be an MB3.5 with the Duke kid.
Right.
Okay, that's the end of the story. Well, how about for Philadelphia? I mean, I forgot he was on the team. I'm assuming he's healthy, but they got a sneaky new contributor to the old postseason this year. He can shoot a little bit from the outside.
oh, are you talking about Buddy?
Buddy Hield.
Buddy Hield.
There goes Buddy Hield. Buddy Hield, drafted deep in the draft. Why? He's from the Bahamas. No, that has nothing to do with it. He came into the league at like 25.
He did.
It's the age bit. He's the Michael Penix Jr. of the NBA.
Damn, what school was he? Was he Oklahoma?
Oklahoma.
And that's where Trey Young was too, right? Oklahoma, maybe? I don't remember.
What I look like, Jay Billis?
But you're right. Yeah, Buddy Hield rolls in 24 or 25 as a draft pick.
Tobias Harris is 15, 8, and 3 assists every game all of his life. Okay, he might get a 12 in there for the rebounds, but so he's the same.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened to D'Anthony Melton. Hopefully everything's okay. So you think about like who they have and what they have, something called Paul Reed that they keep pushing on us the last 2 years.
Oh, the big man, yeah.
Great. Now they got Buddy. You got to have an MB3. Embiid, Maxey. Who's the other one? It has to be Buddy Hield.
It could be, absolutely. The only thing...
Who else could it be? Like the Corknoods and whatever that name is?
Korknaz.
Yeah, what?
Is it Forknaz?
Watch your language in front of
Korknaz?
the ladies, punk.
I'm so dumb right now. Does the NBA reseed after the first round, or is it a straight bracket?
That's what I look like, David Stern?
Well, I'm trying because if you look at the Sixers right now, if they face the Knicks, I like the Sixers in that series. And then if you're looking,
yeah. What about Mitchell Robinson stopping Joel Embiid?
Ooh, Robinson's back.
Who cares? Joel Embiid's going to do to Mitchell Robinson and Isaiah Hartenstein should be a felony in 48 states.
And Hartenstein was so good for the Con and LFL a couple of years ago.
And you're going to see in the postseason, Jalen Brunson, regular seasons for dough and postseasons for show. If he gets the cat on him, the former Kentucky, if he has to deal with Maxey.
So the NBA does not reseed, which means that they would face the winner of the Bucks series the next time around. I mean, the Sixers.
Well, the Bucks are dead.
Exactly.
But, no, you know what? It's Dame and Giannis with Middleton It was good, but it wasn't as good as I think everybody thought it was going to be.
Right.
It seriously, when you have two alphas, all right, that's why I freaked out last week after watching a quarter and a half of Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic, because I've watched them a lot over the course of a year and change, and it hasn't been good, and it's been selfish, and it's been agenda basketball. That was not the case at the end of the year with what I saw.
Right.
So they got these alpha dogs, they got these alphas to mesh. Well, with the team with Milwaukee, with Giannis and Dame, I don't think it meshed. I mean, you looked at Dame.
I don't think it's meshed most of the year.
You looked at Dame's box scores a majority of the year.
Yeah.
I mean, there were so many Damian Lillard box scores that did not look close to what they looked like in Portland.
Yeah, 8 of 27.
Right.
Yeah, just awful from deep. He's missing free throws, the whole thing. And you're not even seeing that fill out. Oh, well, at least he got a couple of steals.
Yeah.
He did have like a 15 assist game, but the regularity of filling out other aspects of the game, he kind of disappeared at times.
But Damian Lillard
He's still Dame.
is a dog.
Yeah.
Damian Lillard just Giannis played against us, but then he got foul trouble or something. But I've seen Damian Lillard lead that team without Giannis to victories. Like they were an underdog at home within the last week and a half to Orlando because things ain't been going well. Giannis is hurt. I don't know. Maybe Portis wasn't playing or Middleton was out too. They were 3-point underdogs at home. With Damian Lillard playing, you can have Banchero, you can have both the Wagners. They ain't Dame. Okay? They're not. They're just not. They're good, but they ain't Dame. And Dame beat them.
Yeah.
So he can do that. So this, I'm thinking like Milwaukee's dead because of the Giannis news and everything. Might not necessarily go that far.
But can he do that? I mean, the Pacers matchup is interesting because both of
they're babies.
That matchup is basically what got Adrian Griffin fired because there were like 270-point totals in those games because neither team played defense.
Yeah.
Halliburton's going for 40, that sort of thing, early on in the season. If Giannis doesn't play the first couple of games, can Dame hold them in that series until Giannis is ready to rock?
I take Dame against Indiana. I would take Damian Lillard in the postseason to win a game over anybody on the Indiana Pacers, and that includes Tyrese Halliburton.
That's fair. A game.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that.
So then you win.
And you get both of them at your house
and then
at
now
Fiserv.
The next one is a game.
Right.
Okay, so it's just that's the biggest thing that is concerning me with this Wolves series is because the games are going to be close. It's one of two things are going to happen. Is they're not going to be able to get hold of this first quarter thing, outscored by 40 points in the 3 games this year. And with Gobert and Cat, I mean, they're just, I don't want to say they clump, but it's just the big bit is not working against that small team. But I think Finchy knows that.
He knows that.
So, but if you get down to the nitty gritty of what we're just talking about with Dame, do we trust Devin Booker to hit a big shot? Yes.
I do, yeah.
Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
Bradley Beal.
Yeah.
We'll stop there. Anthony Edwards.
Yes.
Give me the next one.
I trust Cat.
Okay.
I do.
Well, you're trusting it by faith because we've never seen it. So it's.
Well, he's hit big shots, not playoff shots. I mean, that's the difficult thing that we're talking about there.
I don't know if Karl Anthony Towns has ever walked off hitting a game-winning shot in his career with the Minnesota Timberwolves. Think Kawhi corner Eastern Conference Finals against Philly.
The ball bounced like 4 times off the rim.
I'm just saying hit it. It's like Steph's hit him. I mean, we just, maybe he has. Maybe there has been a walk-off. That's what he needed. Everybody embraced him and loved him.
Well, remember what he hit those free throws?
Yeah.
He hit those free throws to walk off.
There's pressure.
He said it was like a movie.
That's right. And that was after he said that there's room for 2 legends on a team. I'm like, you just called yourself a legend. That's weird. I hope you're right.
I trust him to make a shot. I don't know if it's the shot. And so...
But it's a metaphor.
I understand.
For who the people are in this situation.
Well, it's the dynamic duo of what you're talking about. Kyrie and Luka. Maxey and Embiid is as high-end maybe in this entire playoffs as you look at a duo if Embiid's healthy.
Tatum Brown.
Well,
Tatum Brown, but the 3 is Derek White. Okay, Derek White was the bomb in the post.
How about Derek White emerging from San Antonio obscurity to now be third best guy basically on that Celtics team?
It was the playoffs last year. He blew up in the postseason. And he's like the best shot blocking guard in the NBA. So he's kind of their
good.
MB3-ish. And who else do we have here? OKC, you got Gilgeous-Alexander.
And then is it that Jalen Williams?
Yeah, probably.
Is it Chet?
It's got to be Chet Holmgren.
Probably Chet.
That's a baby team that's super fast.
It's a human walking stick.
We'll see, but you get the point here.
Yeah.
With our series. So anyway,
we got trouble in that regard.
I hope we win the series, man.
I hope we do too. Last bit as we hit the break here. Twins blown out yesterday. They're 6-10 of the season, 11-3 the final. They've now lost 3 straight.
That
Chris Paddock got his ass kicked yesterday.
Yep, gave up 9 earned runs. That pitcher for Baltimore yesterday, by the way, Grayson Rodriguez or something like that. Man, that guy's a badass. Holy cow, super high. I didn't know he was that highly touted years ago.
They were a 100-win team last year, weren't they?
I don't know.
I forget, but they were in the playoffs, and I think the Rangers waxed them. But
what do I look like, Earl Weaver?
Well, I mean, Buxton's awful. Carlos Santana has people wishing Joey Gallo was still here.
Yeah.
Julian, everybody's regressing.
Yeah.
It's really bad baseball right now for the Twins. So hopefully Pablo can help them get a W, and Nooner in B-Town today.
Sat down with Josh Metellus, the Swiss Army knife for the Minnesota Vikings yesterday at Twin Cities Orthopedics Performance Center. I put 5 questions on a card, and this conversation went more than 20 minutes because Josh and I just kept going back and forth about things that I thought provided hilarity, also some Vikings-related speculation, some J.J. McCarthy speculation, and much more. So we'll play that back around the corner. You're listening to The Fan.